Hello, this is Shankar. Om Namah Shivaya. And today is Monday, which is also the starting of our very important festival. Uh, Savan starts, and it is the first Monday of Savan. So it's dedicated to Lord Shiva. So here am I today to explain you certain things which I have read about Lord Shiva in very briefly, and it is my interest to read over these things, so I would like to share it with everybody. Lord Shiva, the Shivling which is worshipped by all, people think, call it a phallus, some people call it something else, which is wrong. Shivling is basically a concept, and person needed something as a concept to pray upon. A human being needs something in front to pray upon, and that is how our rishis, especially I think Rishi Vyas, and during the time of King Vikramaditya, that the Shivling was made popular. A lot of temples were made during the time of King Vikramaditya, and Shivling as a concept was also there mentioned by Vyas. Shivling basically represents the three forces of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. The lower portion of the Shivling represents the Brahma, the middle portion is Vishnu, and the upper portion is Mahesh or Shanker. It is also representations of electron, proton and neutron. They are the three kind of energies which are there in any atom, which make the world move. And the electrons and protons are basically negative to each other. They are the creator and the energy which preserves or which makes things happen. And that is basically represented by Brahma and Vishnu. Neutron is the force which is neutral, which is Shiva. It remains neutral and static. It is therefore called as the god of destruction. And beyond these three, and these three is cannot be made complete without Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti is represented by three circular lines with a kind of with a kind of energy in between, and that is what Shakti is all about. It is the fusion of Shakti and Shiva, which leads to you to go to the super consciousness and even beyond that. So let's understand that is what it is. And Shakti is of, we call Shakti in three forms. That is Shakti, Adi Shakti and Adi Parashakti. So, we all know that the world was formed by some kind of energy. Shakti is nothing but the energy. And the energy is in three forms. One is the black energy, which is represented by Kali. And they say when the world gets destroyed, it would be this black energy which would be left, and which is there and which has been proved scientifically. So it is the Adi Parashakti. That is the Adi Parashakti which creates an egg, and always an egg also is a form which is endless in its way. Egg is always has no beginning and no end from any point. So that is what an egg is, and that is what is created by the energy which is known as the Adi Parashakti. And this egg again creates three forms of energy which are creation, preservation and destruction, which are represented by Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and also represented by their energies of Saraswati, Lakshmi and Kali. That is creation, preservation and destruction. So that is what is the Shakti, Adi Shakti and Adi Parashakti, which we all deal with, and which is the energy which is there, and nothing is complete without this energy which divides itself, which creates the particles, and which is the primordial force which makes the world move in its way. And this Shakti is both static as well as moving. And when this Shakti gets converged with Shiva, It is the final consciousness, or the super consciousness, or supra consciousness, which we all deal with. And this is a very important concept in yoga. In yoga also, it is your consciousness merging to the final energy. So that is what is Shakti all about, and it has been explained in different ways. It is something which expands, it's something which contracts, but it remains static. It ultimately merges into one particular static form, which is Shiva. And it is when this energy gets muted, or when this energy gets changed, uh, we we see the neutron getting affected, and that is what is known as the dance of Shiva. It is the destruction of Shiva which takes place, and there is a pralay, and the world comes to an end, and it starts again. So this whole cosmic dance, and this whole cosmic flow of energy, and this whole world which is there, which expands, which contracts, and then meets somewhere. It is explained by Shiva and Shakti. It is explained by our uh, the Shivling, and by the Shakti, which is always there as a part of Shiv. Shakti, which always goes and merges into Shiva. So this is what one has to understand when we talk about Shiva and Shakti. There are also forces which are inside us. We all know that there are particles which move, which vibrate at a particular level, and these every molecule has a vibration. Even sound has vibration of a particular frequency. So every molecule which is there in our cosmos has a particular way of vibration, and this vibration and this whole dance of the atoms or the subatoms is actually shown by the Tandav of Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, where he is shown as dancing. And this dance, if Lord Shiva, if you analyze it very deeply, it is nothing but the whole dance of creation and destruction, and how the atomic behavior actually happens at the subatomic level and then down till the molecular level. A very important thing here is the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. The Mahamrityunjaya mantra of Lord Shiva has certain vibrations, and if you chant it regularly, or if you meditate upon it regularly, it creates a kind of energy flow within you which tries to make you understand yourself. And it is a very powerful mantra, not for giving you results in your actions, but in talking about, in telling about your, in making you realize your own self and your own consciousness, and at the level which you as a person, as a human being, vibrate in the whole cosmos. That is the power of Mahamrityunjaya mantra. The whole theory of Shiva is this, and it has to be linked with Shakti to understand Shiva. Very, very interesting story about Shiva is the fight between Shiva and Yam, and Shiva is therefore praised, and in a lot of ways. There was a saint known as Mukadaru, who with his wife had no child, and they prayed to their Ishtadeva, Lord Shiva, to give them a child. And Shiva, getting happy on them, granted them the boon to have a child, but said that you have an option that you can have a child which lives only till 16 years and is a very bright, intelligent person, or you want a person who is not intelligent and just a person who will while away his time, will be only self-absorbed, will not do much about himself, and can live for a long time. So the saint opted for the former, and this child was known as Markandey. You would have heard the name of Markandey. And Markandey lived till the age of 16, and while he was coming at the age of 16, both the parents were unhappy, And when Markandey was asked, he was a very brilliant and intelligent person, understanding spirituality, and as the wound was, and he asked his people, why were you unhappy? So they said that they told about their Lord Shiva and the boon he had granted, and that he is 16 years, so it's the end. It is at that time when Yama came and said that now I have to take away this child, and as he could see Yama was there, the child caught hold of the shivling and and did not leave it. But Yam was very kind of persistent in taking his life away, and it is at that time, it is said, that the shivling broke away. Shiva came and kicked Yama by his foot, by which he died. The other gods, this could, everything is related in Indian mythology to the preservation of the entire cosmos. So they said that the entire cosmos, the structure, order, and discipline would get into a problem. So they requested Shiva to do something about it. Shiva granted Yama his life back, but on a condition that Markandey would always live. So it is also said that Rishi Markandey, who had a lot to do with a lot of with a lot of philosophy, and they were scientists who basically did a lot of things in the Indian society. He would always live. He would always be young, and he would be like an immortal soul. So that is what is the story of Lord Markandey. And also this tells you, the story tells you that Shiva is the end and beginning of Kal. It has got the power over Kal. It has got the in rare occasions it can also help you from getting away from Kal, and that is Mrityu. So Shiva is the god which can also give you life, and because it is the controller of the cosmos and life, along with Shakti. Another very important story which comes, which is also an expression that comes to my mind, is that of Shiva wearing a snake, and the snake is wrapped 3 times on his neck. Snake. It is said that the Nagas were big worshippers of Lord Shiva, and you'd always see in the tribal areas, Shiva is worshipped, and whatever they take from the forest, they always give it to Lord Shiva and pray to him. So it is they who worship the snakes also. And the snake, the god of all the snakes, was Vasuki. It is said that Vasuki is there on the neck, and it is tied 3 times. The reason of 3 times is that it is all about preservation, destruction, and creation. It is creation, preservation, and destruction. That is the 3 times which is there. Snake also is an animal which keeps on shedding its skin and regenerating itself. So it is also a thing of timeless. Your body has a circle of life, death, and rebirth. It is an understanding of that which is also told by the snake. And the snake, you would always see, looks at the right when it is tied, and it looks towards the right. And the right is, you always be on the right side of the dharma and be just. And that is what it shows. So these are the things which snakes show. And snakes also are supposed to be very poisonous and angry animal. So if you have to, you should get over your anger. And if you get over your anger, the poison of anger, which anger does, you also get over that. So that is another thing which is always projected by the snakes which are around Lord Shiva. And that is one thing which you should always bear in mind, that when you look at the Akriti of Shiva, it is, you should understand these subtler things of life. Lord Shiva also has 2 very interesting stories in terms of why did Lord Shiva fight Lord Narsimha. I mean, Lord Narsimha had come to kill, was a form of Vishnu, which came in a particular form because of the Vardhan Harnakashyap had from Brahma, that nobody could kill him in any mankind form at any place, etc. So Lord Vishnu, in one of his incarnates, came as Lord Narsimha, and and he was furious when there were a lot of negative things done on Prahlad to kill Prahlad. So in one of the forms, when he was about to kill Prahlad, Lord Vishnu Narsimha came out, and he was so angry that he not only killed Hiranyakashipu but also was so angry and was so agitated that the world order was getting into problems. The entire structure, the destruction of the world was also taking place. And it is only at that time Lord Shiva came in a particular form, and there are stories that he had taken the form of two 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 faces. But what I've read mostly is that he took a very large form, larger than Narsimha, and into a huge form in the same way. And he picked up Narsimha and Lord Narsimha and took him. And when he picked him up and took him, and Lord Narsimha also got got controlled, and agitation was finished, and thus the world order was restored. So that is how the two also explains that, that sometimes it is the destructive forces which constructive forces become destructive, and sometimes the destructive forces become constructive. And always the idea is to have a balance in the world order. Similarly, there is a story that Lord Shiva also had to fight Lord Krishna, and the story goes that there was Banasur, who was the 10th descendant of Prahlad, and he was the son of Bali. He was also a great bhakt of Lord Shiva, and he did a lot of penance of Lord Shiva and got the boon that he'll have 100 hands. And apart from having 100 hands, he also had one more this thing, that any time when he's in trouble, Lord Shiva would come to protect him. He became egoistic and angry. However, he had a daughter, Usha, who fell in love with, who had in a dream a particular man, and that particular man was nobody but the grandson of Lord Krishna. And Chitralekha, her dasi, her servant, or her person who takes care, the caretaker, told her that this is Anirudh who stays in Dwarka. So she, by her power, went to Dwarka and went to Aniruddha, and Aniruddha also was so much taken aback by her beauty that they both stayed in a particular house for a long time. On the other hand, there was a time when Banasur got so egoistic that he went and tried to upsurge Lord the Kailash. He attacked Kailasha. So Shiv told him that the day your flag falls down, be sure that your end is coming. So when Anirudh and Usha were together, and they were Usha had got Anirudh into her place, into her palace. She made him unconscious, captured him, and got him to his palace. And here the other Krishna was not seeing where Anirudh was, and they were not knowing where he has gone, because they were together for a long time. And at this time that he saw that the flag came down, and it is at that time that Balram and Krishna came to fight Banasur. And in the fight, obviously, Balram was very powerful himself, and Krishna also fought Banasur, who was very powerful, but it was very difficult for Krishna to fight Banasur because of his boon of Lord Shiva. Whenever he used to, have any problems, Lord Shiva used to come and protect him. So then he prayed to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva said that, okay, you do something by which I get unconscious. So Lord Shiva became unconscious for some time, and at that time he cut all his 100 hands, and he was about to put the Sudarshan Chakra to cut his head, but Lord Shiva again got up and stopped the Sudarshan Chakra. Then at this point of time, Anirudh saw that these were forces which were beyond him, and they were divine forces. He felt very sad about it, and very asked for forgiveness, etc. which Krishna and Shiva both forgave him and told him to, to be a nice ruler and be a ruler which creates goodwill and greatness. So he was left, and Lord Shiva was mm, uh, his boon that he will always protect him. In fact, he requested, he must have uh, requested Krishna to leave him and to let him live as he is now, repenting upon his thing. So it is repentance which is very important, and also these two forces combine together to protect and to put the world in the right order. There are a large number of stories of Shiva and in terms of Shiv Puran, but most important is that Shiva and Shakti are important, and Shiva and Shakti are nothing but the cosmos, the consciousness. Mahamrityunjaya mantra, please do it. Think of Shiva as the static Parush and Prakriti as the Devi, and Devi makes movement happen, makes the world happen, is the change. It is also the destroyer also of things, and it always looks at Shiva for finally merging into him. Any change in the order in which the movement happens, which is not as per the cosmic dance which is shown by Shiva, leads to problems, issues, wars, earthquakes, etc. So this is what is all I want to tell you about Shiva and Shakti and the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. And with this, it's been a long video, it's 21 minutes now. I would like to end this video. Thanks a lot. If you watched it till the end, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Om Namah Shivaya.